What up? Big Herc916, positivity, motivation. I get a lot of crazy comments, and some of them I delete, other ones I respond to, and then some I address in videos. And one of the comments was, Big Herc, how could you be down with the black when you married the white? And I had to laugh, when I heard that. I'm like, because I married the white. Huh. Yeah, I did marry white. Interesting. But it's not like it's something that I just planned, from birth. Oh, I'm going to marry white, oh, I don't want to be black. I never looked at life like that. Um, it's obvious, you see my skin color. I mean, I can't hide from being black. I never really looked at myself when I went places being black, but I know I'm black because I see people's responses. I know in certain situations there's a stereotype or stigma, but hey, man, I live and I deal with it. I keep pushing, man. I'm not going to let it hinder me from getting ahead in life. My grandfather, uh, he used to tell me about being in the military in the 50s and the 60s and how racial it was, and how when he was in the army, excuse me, in the Air Force, and he was in a dental field, and when he would be talking to other officers on base about coming to the base with his family, and my grandfather he spoke pretty well, was somewhat articulate, and so a lot of times people won't say on the phone, oh, are you black? They couldn't say that, or they wouldn't say it out in the open. But he said he would get to places that they said they had base housing, and he would have 3 kids with him, and they would say upon arrival, oh, we don't have any housing for you, after he drove miles across country in a car packed with his family. And he would say, somebody, driving across country back then, you had to be on point. He said that there'd be times he'd go to get gas in some of these small counties, and he would just get enough gas in the car to get the hell out of there because it wasn't a very welcoming vibe, and it just wasn't in your best interest to be taken lightly. And there's a lot of places you couldn't go and eat into because you weren't welcome. You were black. So you can't change other people's perception or ignorance. All you can do is live life and move past it. My mom never instilled in me that because I was black, I would be hindered in any way, that I wouldn't be able to accomplish certain goals, or that you should try to find you a white woman to make yourself feel more white. Ah, man, it just happened to end up this way. I mean, I've had relations with Mexican women, Asian women, black women, Native American women. I've made sure I've busted all the different women cheeks. I never discriminated when it came to who I would date or who I actually, decide to get married with. And I never had any intentions of getting married after I did all that time. I was just gonna have fun, man. I figured, shit, I missed out on a decade. Why would I get out and get married and settle down? For what, man? I mean, dude, I wanna get out here and lay my pipe, bust that thunder, be the hammer. And I was hammering, believe me, I was hammering, putting in work, getting high fives, creeping around at night, doing my thing. I was having fun. But I never really said that, hey, in the back of my mind, I'm gonna marry a white woman. My wife just happened to be a standout among all the other women I was seeing at the time. And so yeah, me getting married to my wife had nothing to do with her skin being white. At the end of the day, personality, her interest in me as a person, and my dreams and my ambitions is what drew us together, knowing that she had my back. But when love chooses you, or you pick a person to be your other half, I don't think it's a racial decision. If you're around nothing but a particular quote unquote race. I hate to even use that term because it's so stupid, because the term white race didn't even exist prior to, I want to say, the late 1600s. That was something that was created to create divide. There was nothing known as the white race. They were people, but when the immigrants started coming over here and they needed to create a race of people to police the slaves, they said white. And if you do your history, they were treating the Irish worse than they were treating the niggas. The Irish are getting dogged the hell out. They weren't, Irish, the English didn't look at them. They looked at them like less than a man, less than a person. So they told them that, they were now, up their status to white. And then you had the blacks, which they call the niggas. And now it's like, oh, okay, well, shit, we got somebody else to step on. But, yeah, man, the whole race thing, man, it was the creation of a caste system which allowed somebody to empower themselves over somebody else and justify it. You go to Africa, everybody's black, but you had slaves. You had people who were treated differently based on where they were from, not because of their skin color. And at the end of the day, dealing with this whole status that they created with this race shit, I feel like by me sharing and showing that you can be articulate, you can change your life, you can make mistakes and come back from them, that other young men that look like me or that have similar backgrounds, even if they don't have the same skin color, can relate, which I know a lot of them can, because I get thousands of comments, thousands of emails from people from around the world that aren't necessarily black, that can have a point of reference when I tell a story about growing up or about family, about dealing with adversity. It's bigger than race, man. I never even knew really what race was until I was probably 6.5, 7, when somebody, some little kids called me a nigger and they started fighting with me. But I didn't know what black was, I mean, it was just, I knew people. I grew up in Sacramento, man. Everybody was everybody, man. My elementary school class of kindergartners and preschool, we were all just kids. Kids don't know nothing about race. I remember my mom told me a story that was pretty crazy. And she said when she was in school that they were one of the girls were saying something, and they're like, yeah, um, they're bringing some niggers in today. And my mom was like, the niggers, where are they at? And she's like, I want to see. And her friend, the other black girl's like, no, you don't. That's not. She's like, where are the niggers? What is that? What is she talking about, the niggers? My mom didn't even know that they were talking about her. That's what they were referring to. So she went home and asked my grandma, her mom, like, grandma, mom, they were saying that there was some niggers in school today. And she said, don't ever say that word. That's derogatory. That's a derogatory term. And my mom's like, what does that mean? See, my mom and they didn't grow up like that. My grandma knew. My grandma's from Georgia. She's from the South. My grandpa's from the South, man. He's from Georgia. And he said when he, left back then in the 60s, like, man, I'm never coming back out here. That's why I moved to California to try to have a better life for his family. Of course, he visited Georgia after that, and Georgia's changed a whole lot. There's still a lot of places I heard where, it's still the same bullshit. And they got bullshit like that in parts of California. I could take you to some parts of Cali. They talk all that shit like, oh, we're so this and that. Man, you go some places, man, they got a code for being black in this area. And the cops all know it, and they show up 8, 10 deep. And if you're a Negro, you're getting sweated. So, I mean, we know there's racism, profiling. Homie get pulled over, he got money. Oh, this is from drugs. What are you talking about? Well, you're black. You can't have this much money, Negro. You got to be a drug dealer. Why can't he just be a black man with money? So, being down for the black, I'm down to try to enlighten people, man, and try to bring a different dialogue to the table. I was bamboozled, bought into a bunch of bullshit about what I thought was supposed to be the image for a black man, talking this way, acting like this. And I wasn't brought up like that. I wasn't. I was very English worthy at 4 or 5 years old. I read a lot of books. I was a straight A student, and I knew better, but I had also been exposed to the street side. So, I took on a certain persona. Just like a lot of these young gentlemen out here, they want to be down with the black, but they thinking that's down with the black. And if you went back in time and you seen how the blacks were acting, then you would be like, wow, this is not how the blacks used to act. A lot of what the blacks are doing now is what basically the unwanted from England was acting like. They call them the rednecks. Those were the ones they were ghetto. In the South, they were the ones who had that personality and that broken English talk. That was how they talked. Blacks were very articulate. A lot of them who they dressed and carried themselves, but we've actually regressed. Blacks went backwards, doing stupid shit that they think is getting them a bag, but it's actually dysfunctional. So if you hang out with white people, Mexican people, Asian people, foreign people, it don't matter. It doesn't mean you're not being black. To think that you're being black because you're promoting violence, drama, you're with the shit, that's what they want you to believe, so that you continue to perpetuate a cycle of bamboozle with your kids and your kids' kids, so they ain't got to worry about you, because there's people who they can't stand us. I see them, they talk to you and they want to ask you, and you've seen it. What do you do? Well, why are you worried about what the hell I do? I ain't worried about what the hell you do, but because I'm carrying myself a certain way, you want to ask me, what do I do? Because it blows you away that I'm not being that Negro that you've seen in that movie, or that Negro you've seen on the news that's acting up with a mask on, or the one who's over here and he's, a certain type of personality. So you can't put me in that box. If I had on all white makeup, I can go over here and do this, or I can put this on and do this over here. I can blend in wherever. I can go to the hood, or I can go over here to Wall Street. And see, that's what's twisted about our whole society and culture. They want to put you in a box. You either all the way right, all the way left. You either down with the hood, or you're soft and you're a sellout. You're a coon. And the people saying coon, these dudes, they run around and they're part of the problem, because they want every black to think that, oh, we're incapable. I didn't say that there wasn't racism, but I'm telling you that I'm perfectly capable, and it ain't got nothing to do with who I married. So, you know, a lot of people are gonna make comments about this video, say stuff. I really don't give a damn. I've always kept it 100 with you guys, fresh out. I was one of the first people to put a positive twist on this prison shit and not glorify it, because you got a lot of these jackasses acting like it's a badge of honor, a rite of passage. And I was about that life too. But I lived it for real. These clowns is fantasy gangsters, you know, and they're setting these youngsters up to do the same dumb shit, and they can't rap, so they can't get out of jail. They don't have a way out. That's all they have. So I try to keep it 100 with you guys, lace you up, and put you up on game, man. And don't think that because, you know, you talk articulate, that's talking white. Man, blacks talk just as articulate. You got black multimillionaires and billionaires who's not sagging, who's not talking about they gonna go after they ops, or they gonna do this. They're not talking all that craziness. There's very intelligent young black people in the world, and there are attractive black women, attractive Mexican women, attractive Asian women. There's all kinds, you know. It's just whatever you happen to be united with through the universe. It could be a number of different nationalities, you know, or quote unquote races. It's not like you go out and seek out a particular race. You just happen to, you know, be brought into that energy, you know, that attraction, that frequency. So, hey, how can you be black and be married to the white? You tell me. Big Herc916.
Go to muscleupdetailspray.com and pick you up some merch.
Stop walking around with a crusty butt, smelly ball sack, and a funky hoo-ha. Big Herc said, wash that ass. Pick you up a t-shirt at freshoutseries.com.
Hello, I'm Big Herc916. Contact me for life coaching and motivational speaking.